If you don't believe something is possible, then it isn't possible. All the physical training that you do will be worthless unless you have mental power. You can't apply your physical power if you don't have mental power. Well, how do you develop mental power? Number one, you need to know exactly what the goal is. Number two, you need to know what to focus on that takes you in the direction of that goal. And number three, there's one additional ingredient that's really important that I want to share in this lesson. I had a student recently that said she was afraid of falling. That's why she attended the clinic. She said that she knew she would be okay if she fell, but she was still afraid. Well, does she really know? This is a typical misconception that climbers have and that people have in general. They equate knowing with their physical ability. Many times athletes train physically to circumvent the mental training process, so they don't have to do any mental training. But knowing comes from experience. You know something when you experience it, not before. For climbers, if you climb the 512 difficulty grade, you know you can climb 512 because you've experienced many 512s. If you're not a climber and you have an activity that you've been doing, you know you can do that activity to the extent that you've experienced that activity. No more, no less. Well, why would falling be different? In order to know that you're going to be okay in falling, you need to practice it. Practicing falling and practicing mental training will allow you to apply the physical training that you're doing for your sport. So, mental training is primary, physical training is secondary. How do you understand and quantify mental power? Well, you need to keep it very practical and tangible. That's what we do with our training. Number one, you need to be very clear about what the goal is. Number two, you need to know exactly what to focus on that takes you in the direction of that goal. And number three, you need to develop the ability to notice when you're distracted. The dictionary defines power as the ability to do something or act in a particular way, especially as a faculty or quality. What drew my attention to this definition was acting in a particular way. Well, when we're addressing mental training, we need to act in a particular way where our attention is heightened in the present moment. And we do it by focusing on processes. We need to define exactly what the processes are and exactly what we focus on to do those processes well. That heightens the quality of our attention, and with quality attention, that heightens our mental power. You need a goal so that you have direction for your efforts. The goal in mental training is attention focused in the moment on the current task. The goal gives you direction for your efforts, and you know you need to focus your attention in the present moment that takes you in that direction. Well, how do you do that? You do it by focusing on processes. Processes are ongoing. For example, you take the breathing process. You have the inhaling and exhaling. No more, no less. That makes the complete breathing process. This is a cycle that's ongoing, moment to moment to moment. Now, inhaling and exhaling is constantly changing. But the breathing process itself, that includes the inhale-exhale cycle, never changes. And it can be really reassuring that if you're focusing on this process that never changes, then you know you're focusing on something that you can control. In climbing, we have 5 intentional processes. No more, no less. At stop points, you focus on 3 processes: resting, thinking, decision-making. When you leave the stop point, you focus on 1 process, moving. When you fall, you focus on 1 process, falling. We call these intentional processes. Intention is attention focused in the direction of a choice. In other words, you're choosing to focus your attention in the direction of a specific process that has very specific elements that you focus on. Doing this heightens your attention in the moment and takes you in the direction of your mental training goal. We need to take this a step further. Can you keep your attention focused 100% on that process? No, you can't. Your attention constantly gets distracted. So mental power, building that, requires one more quality. Well, what is it? It's your ability to notice and redirect your attention. If you remember from past lessons, I call this the warrior master skill. You know that your attention is going to get distracted from the 5 intentional processes. For example, the falling process, you know it's a body process. You know you're focusing your attention somatically on breathing, eyes, and body. Specifically, breathing, exhaling throughout the fall. Eyes, looking down into the fall zone. Body, arms, legs, shoulder width apart and bent. Staying focused on breathing, eyes, body is impossible. At least staying focused 100% on it. Trying to do that is focusing on the goal. Well, you can't control the goal. You can only control the processes that lead you in the direction of that goal. And you really can't control the 5 processes either. The only thing you really can control is the warrior master skill, your ability to notice and redirect attention. And in reality, you can't really control that either. The only thing you really can do is influence the warrior master skill. And you do that by improving your awareness. Ultimately, all of your efforts need to go toward improving awareness. With improved awareness, you're increasing the frequency of noticing when you're distracted. That allows you to increase the frequency of redirecting your attention. And when you have more frequency of noticing and redirecting, you get more attention in the present moment that takes you in the direction of your mental training goal and building that mental power. Let's revisit the student that I was referring to earlier. She knows she's going to be okay when she falls because she practices falling. And she knows that she must act in a particular way when she's practicing. How is that particular way? She knows that falling is a process and she needs to focus on the elements that make up that process, which is breathing, eyes, and body, because it's a body process where she needs to focus her attention somatically. She knows that the breathing, eyes, body elements that make up the falling process are outside of her control. She needs awareness that heightens her ability to notice when she's distracted so she can redirect her attention back to the breathing, eyes, body elements. And again, this is the warrior master skill. All this knowing is not intellectual. It's not intellectualizing. It's experiential. She experiences falling practices. She experiences focusing on BEB during falling practice. She experiences becoming more aware using the warrior master skill. The warrior master skill gives her the mental power that she needs. The goal is dependent on the 5 intentional processes. The 5 intentional processes is dependent on the warrior master skill. To increase her mental power, she directs all of her efforts toward improving her awareness. She's not intellectualizing. She knows because she's experiencing. Her mental power allows her to believe something is possible and realize that possibility. You know the goal, you know the 5 intentional processes, and you know that you need to improve your ability to notice and redirect, this warrior master skill. Improving your ability with the warrior master skill will unhook thinking from awareness. If you think you are your thoughts, then you're just lost in thoughts and you're just going to react to them. You need perspective. You need separation. This helps you notice that it's just a thought and you can redirect your attention to what you intended to do. Let's do an experiment. Feel the sensations of your clothing on your skin. This is feeling, sensory. You're focusing your attention somatically in the present moment. Think about what you had for breakfast. This is thinking. You're focusing your attention cognitively on a past memory. Hear the sounds right now in your environment. This is hearing. You're focusing your attention somatically in the present moment. Think about what you need to accomplish today. This is thinking. You're focusing your attention cognitively on a future plan. See these letters on the screen. This is seeing. You're focusing your attention somatically in the present moment. Do you understand this shifting? You're making a clear distinction between these two very different ways of focusing your attention, somatically and cognitively, in the body or in the mind. Knowing this distinction helps you unhook thinking from awareness. Here's the drill. Create a morning routine that grounds your attention somatically. Stand upright and focus your attention on EBOM. EB, expanded body. Expand your posture, relax tensions, and breathe. OM, observant mind. Focus your attention somatically. What you can feel on your skin, what you hear, and what you see. Maintain an expanded eye gaze. Maintain your attention on EBOM for a couple minutes. Then set a verbal intention to set it into motion for the day. You can say, my intention is to focus on EBOM, or expanded body, observant mind. Your attention will get distracted. You'll notice attention being lost in thought. No problem. Just notice and redirect it to EBOM. Do this over and over and over again all day long. Doing this will unhook thinking from awareness, and it will improve your awareness.